AITA for denying my parents a vacation home after they lied about my sister's wedding? My name is Amanda Hayes. I am 33 years old and work as a senior tech project manager at a company with offices in downtown Los Angeles. I am doing well, better than my parents expected. And over time that also started to cause tension at home. My parents are Linda and Richard Hayes, aged 58 and 62. My dad has spent half his life trying to get businesses off the ground that almost never end well. He always brings up a new idea. He says that this time it is going to work. And it almost always ends the same way with debt and unfulfilled promises. Then there is my younger sister, Natalie. She is 29, works in interior design, and had been dating Tyler for a while when all this happened. Since we were girls, I was the daughter who could manage on her own. Natalie was the one who had to be taken care of, pampered, and justified. She got the new clothes, the best parties, and the car. I got the hand-me-downs, the lectures, and the usual phrase, "You can do it by yourself." And yes, I could. I got scholarships. I worked since college and ended up in a stable job with a good salary and annual bonuses that I kept saving for years. It was not money I had to spare. It was money I gathered carefully. Even so, I kept helping them. 5 years ago, another one of my dad's businesses was sinking. They were about to lose a vacation home in Big Bear Lake, a beautiful property, although old and neglected. It had a large plot of land, a pool that needed maintenance, and a view of the mountains I had always liked. They were selling it urgently. There were debts the bank was pressuring, and my dad had no room to negotiate. I had been saving for years and liquidated investments I had planned to keep longer. I paid debts directly, covered the rest, and we closed the sale at the title company. That was how I bought it. I gave them $160,000. It was a low price even for that time, but the house had many pending repairs, dampness, old plumbing and wiring, and they needed to close fast. With that money, my dad breathed easily for a while and prevented the problem from blowing up in his face. The deed was put in my name, only my name. Even so, I let them continue using the house whenever they wanted. I never charged them rent, nor did I remind them that it was legally mine. Even when Natalie uploaded photos from there, presented it as part of her work, and spoke of the house as if it belonged to everyone, I preferred not to argue. I told myself it was not worth fighting over every little thing. At that time, I still thought that enduring things was part of being a family. 3 years before the wedding, Natalie called me crying. She had racked up a debt of $9,000 on credit cards for furniture, decor, and things for her apartment. She could no longer cover the minimum payments. She told me she was desperate, that she could not sleep, that Tyler did not know everything. I did not even think about it too much. I transferred the money to her that same day. A month later, when I calmly asked her when she thought she could start paying me back somewhat, she looked at me as if I had done something horrible. "Are you really charging your own sister?" "I just asked when you could start paying me back something, Natalie." "How ugly, Amanda. Family does not go around collecting debt like that." I never mentioned it again. I swallowed it like so many other things. 2 years before the wedding, it was my parents' turn again. This time it was not the house in Big Bear Lake, but the house where they lived in Santa Clarita. It was in very bad shape. There were leaks in the roof, serious cracks, dampness on several walls, and an electrical system that had been begging for repair for years. Besides, they had fallen behind on a loan they had used to cover up another one of my dad's businesses. Between waterproofing, reinforcements, masonry, painting, and pending payments, everything was around $30,000. In the end, I wound up solving it. I took out almost all my savings at the time to pay for those repairs and cover part of the arrears. In addition, I sent them money for groceries, bills, medical appointments, or whatever came up. Last year, I even paid for their anniversary trip to Maui. Because my mom had been mentioning in passing for months that they had never been able to take a peaceful vacation. But when I needed a place, things changed. I remember Christmas and the family holiday gatherings very well. I would arrive with gifts, with food, wanting to feel part of something, and my mom would welcome me with a weird smile. "Oh honey, what a shame, but the guest rooms are already taken." They never said it exactly like that, but it was understood. I could visit for a while, not stay. The worst was the family holiday gathering last year. I left on a Friday afternoon from Los Feliz in the evening chill, with a light drizzle and heavy traffic heading north on the freeway. A trip that could be done in just over an hour without traffic took more than 2. I arrived tired, with a box of pastries on the passenger seat. I knocked on the door for several minutes. I called them. Nothing. Finally, a neighbor came out and told me that everyone had gone to dinner with some neighbors from the street behind. They did not even let me know. I sat in the car with the box of pastries on my lap until tears rolled down my face. I parked a little further ahead because I could not drive back like that. Over time, I understood the pattern. To help, yes, I was there. To just be there, not so much. And even so, when Natalie announced a few months later that she was going to marry Tyler, I got excited. Truly, I thought that maybe this time would be different. I thought that even if just for one day, they were going to let me in as part of the family. I joined the gym. I lost almost 15 pounds. I bought a dress that cost me way more than I would normally spend on clothes. I am more of a jeans and sneakers person, but it was my sister's wedding. I also started writing a few words for the reception, something simple and sincere. According to my invitation, the wedding was on Saturday the 18th. A week before that date, I stopped by my parents' house. My mom was in the kitchen making coffee. I came in happy. I cannot believe Natalie's wedding is next week, I told her. Yesterday they altered my dress, and it fits perfectly. Do you want to hear what I wrote? My mom froze. Her hand was near the coffee maker. She did not say anything for a few seconds, and right then I felt that something was wrong. Next week, she repeated. Yes, I said, taking the invitation out of my purse. Saturday the 18th. Look. She took the invitation, looked at it for a long moment, then left it on the counter. Oh, Amanda, she said quietly. That was not the date. I felt a pit in my stomach. What? The wedding was last week. I stood there looking at her, waiting for an explanation. What do you mean it was last week? My mom played with her ring. She was looking at the counter, the coffee maker, anything but me. We sent you the wrong date. No, Mom. How could you make a mistake just with me? How do you send a single person an invitation with a different date? She opened her mouth but said nothing. I realized then that it was not a mix-up. The real date had been 2 Saturdays before the one on my invitation. An invitation like that does not appear by accident. And no one reacts that way if it was truly a mistake. I left without another word. My mom did not try to stop me, did not follow me, did not call me. I reached my car before I started crying. I stayed there for a while with my hands on the steering wheel. Afterward, I drove slowly back to Los Feliz. In my apartment, I wept like I had not wept in years. Then I did something I should have done earlier. I checked Natalie's Instagram. I barely used it, and later I understood she had restricted me from several stories. On her profile, the public photos uploaded 7 days ago were already there. Everything was right there. Natalie in a gorgeous white dress. Tyler looking flawless. My parents smiling, aunts, uncles, cousins I had not seen in years, friends, neighbors. Even my great-aunt Gloria, who lives in San Diego and barely travels anymore, had gone. Everyone I would have expected to see was there. There was not a single photo with me. I called Leah, a cousin on my mom's side whom I always got along with. She did not answer. Then she returned my call. Amanda, I saw you called. Is everything okay? I took a deep breath. Leah, did you go to Natalie's wedding? There was a brief silence. Yes, of course. Why? Why didn't you go? I swallowed hard. Because I just found out that it was a week ago. Leah let out a very soft what that finally confirmed what I was already grasping. Your mom told us you were going through a severe emotional issue and that you could not be around so many people. She told me. Honestly, I found it weird. When we spoke weeks prior, you sounded fine. I closed my eyes. She said that. Yes. And I do not know if I should tell you this. Tell me, Leah. I do not want anything hidden from me anymore. She lowered her voice. At the reception, I overheard something. I was near the hallway looking for my coat. I did not hear the whole conversation. But I did hear Natalie say it was better that you were not there. Something about not wanting the attention to shift to you. Your mom did not contradict her. And they laughed. Amanda, that part one did hear. I could not answer. My mother and sister had intentionally left me out of the wedding. They had lied about me to the whole family and treated it as if it were normal. I sat in the dark of my living room, thinking about all the money I had given them and every rejection I endured, telling myself that families were like that. Complicated, unfair sometimes, but families. That night, I felt ashamed realizing everything I had let slide. The next morning, I received a text from my mom. Hi. Honey, your dad needs $300 for some car parts. Can you transfer it to him today? Thank you. I love you. As if nothing had happened. As if the day before she had not admitted to leaving me out of my sister's wedding, and at the end she put, I love you. As if that were enough. I stared at my phone for a while, then grabbed my keys. It was time to speak with them face to face. Not another halfway conversation. When I arrived, I knocked on the door. My mom took a while to open it, and when she saw me, her face tensed up. Amanda, she said, we were not expecting you. Yes, I answered. That much is already clear to me. I walked in before she could tell me no. Everyone was in the living room. My dad, my mom, and Natalie, who was showing them pictures on her computer. Look at this one from Maui, Natalie was saying. She fell silent upon seeing me. No one said a word for a second. Amanda, my mom repeated with a forced smile. I came to talk about the wedding. Natalie closed the laptop without hiding her annoyance. Amanda, please do not start. I looked at her, unable to believe that was her first reaction. You guys sent me an invitation with a different date, so I would not go to your wedding. Natalie took a deep breath, as if she were the exhausted one. It was my wedding, Amanda. I did not want to be worrying about you all day. Then why send me an invitation? Because Mom said it would look bad not to send you anything. I turned to look at my mom. She did not deny it. But I did not want you there, Natalie continued. I did not want everything to end up being about you. It always happens. I laughed, but it was more out of anger than anything else. When have I done that? Please, Amanda. You always find a way to mention something. Your promotion, your bonuses, your apartment. It is exhausting. How easy to say that. After asking me for $9,000 to pay off your credit cards and treating me like I was the bad guy for asking when you were going to pay me back somewhat. My mom tried to intervene. Enough, please do not start, you two. No, Mom. Yet. We are going to talk. We are going to talk about how you told the whole family I had emotional problems. We are going to talk about how you left me out and then kept asking me for money as if nothing happened. We are going to talk about how you have been using me for years. My dad, who had been quiet on the couch, finally spoke. Amanda, tone it down. We are family. I looked at him. You cannot seek me out for cash and then treat me like I am a leftover. Natalie rolled her eyes. Amanda, it was one wedding. You did not have to make such a big deal out of it. For you it was no big deal. For me it was. My voice was no longer quiet. I paid your debts. I helped repair my parents' house. I have been covering emergencies, bills, trips, medical appointments, whatever you needed. And you did not even have the decency to tell me the truth. Well, that is what family is for, right? To help each other, Natalie said. Then where were you when I needed you? Where were you at my promotion dinner? Where were you when I had surgery last year? Where were you on my birthdays? No one answered. My mom was the first to break the silence. Amanda, you are hurt. I understand, but we are still family. I do not know if you guys understand what you did, I told her. But I do. And I am not going to keep pretending nothing happened. I walked toward the door. Natalie let out a dry laugh. And now what? Are you going to punish us? I stopped but did not turn around immediately. I breathed before answering. No, I am going to stop taking care of you. The next day, I was in my office in downtown Los Angeles looking at the folder I had kept locked away for years. I have always been organized with paperwork, especially when money or property is involved. I picked up the phone and called Vanessa Klein, a lawyer I had worked with and trusted. Vanessa, it is Amanda. I need you to help me with a personal matter. Could you come to my office? An hour later, she was sitting across from me reviewing the deed and the documents. Vanessa was 42 years old and had a serious look. Everything is in order, she told me as she looked up. The house is legally in your name. Your parents have no rights over that property. Can I stop them from continuing to use it? Yes, you can revoke any informal permission you gave them. If necessary, a formal notice can be sent. But tell me something, is that what you want to do? I did not answer immediately. I do not know yet, but I want to have everything ready. Sure. She looked at me for a few more seconds. What happened? I told her the short version. She did not overreact or make dramatic comments. She just listened. Then we need to protect you, she said at the end, legally and financially. When Vanessa left, I thought about driving to Big Bear Lake that very day. I wanted to see the house. I needed to remind myself that something of everything I had built was actually mine. Before leaving, I received a text from Frank Delgado, a man from Big Bear who checked on the property when I could not go. Miss Amanda. Excuse me. Your sister arrived with some people at the house. They are taking pictures and looking at rooms. Did you authorize this? I stared at the message. First I felt anger, then a strange calm. I grabbed my purse, went down to the parking lot, and headed toward Big Bear Lake. I left the city mid-morning, but it was Saturday. Between getting out, the roadwork, and the traffic heading to the mountains, the trip took me almost 3 hours. When I arrived, the property was just as beautiful as I remembered. The stone house, the spacious grounds, the open view of the mountains, but there were several cars parked in the driveway. I got out of the car and walked toward the front door. Voices could be heard inside. I opened it with my key. Natalie was in the middle of the living room pointing at the stone fireplace. In front of her was a couple in their 40s and a younger woman taking notes on a tablet. This fireplace was one of the major challenges of the project, Natalie was saying. I wanted something warm, yet elegant. The house worked perfectly as a reference for the style I am proposing to you. I stood listening for a few seconds. The kitchen was more complicated. She kept walking over there. I had that coating custom made. Over $5,000 went into the tiles alone. I stepped fully inside. No, Natalie, I said. The tiles cost $700 and Frank installed them. I have the receipt. Natalie spun around abruptly. The confidence vanished from her face. Amanda, what are you doing here? The question is, what are you doing here with clients in my house? The man in the couple frowned. Excuse me, what is going on? Natalie rushed to answer. It is my sister. She is confused. It is a family property. No, I said. I am not confused. I took out my phone and showed them the photos of the deed and the sale documents. All they needed was to see my name, the date, and the property details. This house has been in my name for 5 years. I bought it when my parents were about to lose it. Natalie does not live here. She did not pay for the renovation, and she does not have permission to bring clients here. The woman with the tablet lowered the device and looked at Natalie uncomfortably. You told us the property was yours, she said. That it was part of your personal portfolio. Natalie swallowed hard. It is a family house, we all use it. Amanda is exaggerating. No, I replied. Using it to come for a weekend is not the same as presenting it as yours to close a project. The man closed the folder he had in his hand. We cannot move forward like this. We need to stop this. Wait, Natalie said. We can fix it. I will get you another place. The idea for the project remains the same. The woman shook her head. We asked several times if the property was yours, because the project includes photography and image usage. We were talking about a contract worth up to $75,000. Natalie, we cannot continue if the information was not true. She did not raise her voice. That made it worse. They left. When the last door closed, Natalie turned to me, her face red. I cannot believe what you just did. I did not make anything up, Natalie. I just came to my house. Do you have any idea what it cost me to get that opportunity? And do you have any idea what it means to use a property that is not yours to sell yourself to clients? She grabbed her purse from an armchair. I am going to tell my parents. Tell them. But they cannot use this house without my permission. Neither can you. You are not well, Amanda. I did not answer her. I took out my phone. If you do not leave right now, I am going to call for backup to have you removed. She held my gaze for a few seconds. Then she stormed out, almost shoving the door. When she left, I called Vanessa. Then I called a local locksmith. It was not immediate. He took a while to arrive, but before it got dark, the main locks were already changed. When they handed me the only new set of keys, I did not feel joy, I felt relief. The following morning, I met with Vanessa and Derek Lawson, a financial advisor she recommended. We met in an office in downtown Los Angeles. I need to close any access my family has to my accounts, I said as soon as we sat down. Everything that can be closed. Derek did not ask personal questions. He opened his laptop and reviewed accounts, authorizations, insurance, and investments with me. The most delicate point is this account, he said. It is the family account you opened years ago for emergencies. Your parents were set up as joint holders, and there is also an additional credit card linked to that line. They have the authority to check balances and make some transactions. They dive in. They have moved money. He showed me the screen. Yes. Last month they withdrew $2,750. 2 weeks ago, $1,400. And yesterday morning, $750. Yesterday, I repeated, after I went to speak with them. Yes. And those are not the only transactions. Those are the most recent ones. Looking back, there are small and medium withdrawals from a while ago. How much is left? About $11,000. I had kept close to $45,000 in there over time as a cushion for family emergencies. I stopped checking it with the same care as my main accounts. They did not. They had been touching it, and not just since a month ago. For years. I want to move the balance to a new account, only in my name. Derek nodded. We are going to prepare the revocation of authorizations and the transfer. Some things can be blocked today. Others take a few days, but we can close the urgent stuff right now. Do it. My phone vibrated. It was Natalie. Amanda, sorry about yesterday. Can we talk? I placed my cell phone face down without replying. Derek handed me a first stack of papers. Here you revoke authorizations for inquiries and transactions. Here you update beneficiaries for investments and insurance. I see your parents and your sister appear on several. I signed while Vanessa checked each page. This form blocks third-party inquiries, Derek continued. Even if they are family. Another vibration from the phone. Please do not close the door on us. We are family. I ignored the message. What else is missing? I asked. Derek kept checking. There is an additional card for Natalie linked to one of your credit lines. It is not a large active debt, but it can generate charges. Block it today. That can indeed be done immediately. The formal cancellation might take a while, but she will not be able to use it. Perfect. I signed more documents. With each signature I felt more tired but also lighter. I did not feel good, but I signed. This last document, Derek said, establishes that no one is authorized to act on your behalf in financial matters. We are also going to change passwords, recovery emails, and associated phone numbers. I signed it. Done, he said, gathering everything. The urgent stuff is blocked. The rest will be confirmed in the coming days. I walked out of that office with a strange feeling. I did not leave happy. I left tired but a little calmer. At least they could no longer withdraw money or use accounts I had left open out of trust. Upon leaving the building, my phone vibrated again. Now it was my mom. Natalie told me what you did. How could you be so cruel? I deleted the message without finishing reading it and kept walking. In less than a week, things moved fast. Leah called to tell me what was being said. You have no idea how Natalie reacted, she told me. She lost the big project. I figured as much. And the story started spreading among some clients and acquaintances in the industry. I do not know how far it will go, but it certainly closed several doors for her. People do not want to get involved with someone who presents someone else's property as her own. I did not say much. It did not make me glad, nor did it make me feel guilty. That same afternoon Tyler called me. Seeing his name on the screen did surprise me. Amanda. Please do not hang up on me. I need to apologize to you. For what exactly? His voice sounded tired from the wedding. I did not know about the date. I swear that to you. They told me you were not going because of work. That you preferred not to be around so many people. I should have called you. I should have asked you. I did not do it, and that was wrong. His sincerity threw me off, although it changed nothing. You married her, Tyler. I do not know what to tell you. You are right. I am sorry, Amanda. He hung up shortly after. An hour later, I received an email from my mom with the subject line, "Forgive us." I did not open it. Not because I did not care, but because I already knew that way of apologizing. First came the apology, then came the need, and finally, if I did not cave in, the blame was mine. A month passed. During that time, I did not answer messages, nor did I agree to sit down with them. I was in the middle of a quarterly results presentation when my assistant knocked on the boardroom door. Amanda. Sorry to interrupt. Security says your parents are at reception and are insisting on seeing you. I felt a strange calm, almost cold. I asked for 5 minutes, stepped out, and went down to the lobby. There they were, my mom clutching a purse to her chest. My dad with a wrinkled shirt and his gaze lowered. They looked older than I remembered. Or maybe it was the first time I saw them without making excuses for everything they did. Amanda, please, my mom said. We need to talk. I did not answer. My dad took a step forward. We did not mean to hurt you. Things spiraled out of control. I looked at them without saying anything. My mom took a deep breath. We know we did wrong, but right now we do not have many options. If you wanted to fix something, I told her, you could start by telling the family the truth, not by coming to look for me at work. My mom lowered her gaze. Amanda, it is not that easy. To lie to them about me, it sure was easy. My dad pursed his lips. He said nothing. Then came what they had gone there to ask for. Your dad's business went wrong again, my mom said. We took out a loan using the Santa Clarita house as collateral to invest. And now we cannot cover it. The bank is pressuring us. We need time. I already knew where this was going. And what do you want from me? My mom swallowed hard. At the very least, let us use the Big Bear Lake house for a while, just until we settle down. I looked at her like I had never looked at her before. The Big Bear Lake house is mine, and you guys have already used enough of me. My mom began to cry, but this time it did not move me the same way. My dad tried to touch my arm. Look, we can fix it. We understand now. Forgive us, Amanda. I pulled away carefully. You have not understood. If you had understood, you would not be asking me for another thing. They fell silent. In my head, many images blurred together. My mom in the kitchen, Natalie using my house, the account withdrawals, the invitation with the fake date. It was not just one thing. It was the way they had grown accustomed to treating me. I turned to the head of security who was a few meters away. Please escort them to the exit. I did not raise my voice. There was no need. My mom cried louder when security approached. My dad did not say another word. I watched them walk toward the glass door, and for the first time, I did not feel the urge to run after them to fix things. 6 months later, I was standing on the terrace of my Big Bear Lake house, watching the light fade over the garden. There were people in the pool, soft music, and food on the long table. It was not a huge party. It was a gathering for my promotion. Leah was there. Also Vanessa, Derek, and friends from work. No immediate family. Vanessa raised her glass. To Amanda, she said, and to the new position. Everyone toasted. I did not feel that loud happiness one thinks one should feel. I felt something calmer, being in a place where no one tolerated me out of obligation, nor expected me to pay for something later. A few days later, I received an invitation for my parents' wedding anniversary. I looked at it for a few seconds and later threw it in the trash. Leah kept telling me some things about the family. We would meet for coffee on a terrace in Los Feliz, and there she would bring me up to speed. Natalie and Tyler moved to a smaller apartment around the Inland Empire area, she told me one afternoon. They have been strapped for cash since she lost that project. And your parents sold the Santa Clarita house to pay off part of the debts. Now they rent a smaller place. Your mom barely invites anyone over. She is embarrassed to let them see where they are living. I looked at my mug. They blame me. Leah let out a sad half-smile. Of course. They say you abandoned them when they needed you most. But a lot of people already know what happened. Not everyone tells you to your face. But they do not believe them the same way anymore. I did not reply. It did not bring me joy. It did not surprise me either. I started spending more time in Big Bear Lake. Almost every weekend I invited friends over. We would barbecue, get in the pool, have dinner on the terrace. The house ceased to be a property I had saved for others. Little by little, it became my space. One night, while we were collecting empty glasses, Vanessa asked me, "Do you regret anything?" I looked around. The lit house, the silent garden, Leah laughing near the kitchen. The life I had built. Not perfect, but mine. I took a little while to answer. I regret having taken so long, I told her. Not having stopped. Vanessa nodded. She said no more. My phone was face down on the table. It hardly ever rang. No more urgent requests for money, messages disguised as affection, or explanations that ended up making me the guilty one. I had real friends, a home that was actually mine, a job I had earned, and something that for years I did not know how to protect: peace. They had spent years deciding for me. I was just starting to decide for myself. I stopped being everyone's emergency fund, and I also stopped asking permission to be where I was not wanted. That night I did not say much. I just raised my glass for a moment and stood looking at the garden. I was not waiting for anyone to make room for me. I was in my home at peace. Yeah. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.